Cowboys Nation, it is time to lock in because this week's matchup is shaping up to be one of the most fascinating showdowns of the season. The Dallas Cowboys are packing their bags and heading out on the road to face the Denver Broncos. And this one is not just another regular game on the schedule. It feels like a true test, a clash between one of the league's most explosive offenses and one of its stingiest defenses. When these two styles collide, you never really know what to expect, and that's what makes this game so intriguing. Now, Dallas enters Week 8 with plenty of momentum, but also a few question marks. They're slight favorites, but that margin is narrow, which says a lot about the respect Denver's defense commands. The Broncos have quietly built a unit that can frustrate even the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. They don't just tackle well, they suffocate drives. Fourth in points allowed per game, top 3 in yards per play. This is not a defense that gives up much. So, for Dak Prescott, this will be one of the biggest challenges he's faced all season. And the crazy part? He's been playing some of the best football of his career lately. Confidence is high, rhythm is clicking, and leadership is shining through every snap. But this week, he'll need to be nearly flawless if the Cowboys want to walk out a mile high with a win. And speaking of Dak, there's been a lot of conversation around how this offense has evolved over the past few weeks. The timing between Dak and his receivers looks sharper, the play calling seems more balanced, and the offensive line, when healthy, has been one of the quiet heroes of this team. They've allowed one of the lowest pressure rates in football, which is saying something given how long Dak tends to hold the ball to let plays develop. That patience has paid off, but this week, he won't have much time to think. Denver leads the entire NFL in quarterback pressure rate, and that is not a coincidence. Their edge rushers come flying off the line like missiles, and if you give them even half a second too long, they'll be in your backfield. Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper have been nightmares for opposing tackles, both ranking near the top of the league in pressure percentage. Add to that a disciplined secondary that doesn't allow many quick completions, and you got a recipe for long, grinding offensive possessions. But here's the flip side. The Cowboys' offense can strike fast. They're built for tempo, spacing, and mismatches. CeeDee Lamb has been in rhythm, finding those soft zones in coverage and turning short gains into big plays. Brandon Cooks continues to be that deep threat who forces safeties to stay honest, and Jake Ferguson's reliability underneath gives Dak that safety valve every great quarterback needs. The key is going to be balance. If the Cowboys can keep Denver guessing, mixing in quick passes, play action, and maybe a few design runs for Dak, they can keep that ferocious pass rush from dictating the flow of the game. And you can't talk about Dallas right now without mentioning the emergence of the ground game. Javonte Williams' resurgence has been one of the season's most underrated storylines. After parting ways with Denver, he has been running like a man with something to prove. 5.3 yards per carry, breaking tackles, and extending drives. He's giving this offense a dimension that was missing early on. What makes his impact even more impressive is how physical he's been after contact. Denver's defense ranks near the top in limiting explosive runs, so this will be a true test of patience. Dallas can't abandon the run just because early attempts get stuffed. They need to stay committed, wear down that defensive front, and open up the play-action opportunities that Dak thrives on. Now, let's talk injuries, because they could quietly play a massive role here. Trayvon Diggs being in concussion protocol is something every Cowboys fan is watching closely. The standard recovery timeline means there's at least a chance he's ready, but nothing is guaranteed. Losing a ball hawk like Diggs changes how this defense plays. It forces them to rely more on zone coverage, which, interestingly enough, might actually help against Bo Nix. The rookie quarterback has struggled more against zone looks than man coverage, so if Dan Quinn leans into that, it could be a smart adjustment. Meanwhile, Dak himself showed some swelling in his left hand after the last game, but all reports suggest it's nothing serious. Still, it's one of those things that could affect grip and accuracy if it lingers. Denver, on the other hand, comes in relatively healthy, although they'll be missing linebacker Dre Greenlaw due to suspension, and that's a big deal. He's been one of their tone setters on defense, especially against the run. Without him, There could be gaps for Dallas to exploit, particularly on those inside zone runs that have been working so well recently. As for the Broncos' offense, it's been a strange mix of efficiency and inconsistency. Bo Nix hasn't looked as sharp as he did during his hot streak last season. Sean Payton's play calling has been conservative, maybe too conservative at times, keeping Nix in a box and limiting the offense's full potential. They rely heavily on short passes, screens, and the occasional deep shot, but there's not a lot of intermediate attacking going on. The Cowboys' defense needs to take advantage of that. They've struggled at times this season with giving up big plays, but if they can force Denver to sustain long drives and play mistake-free football, the advantage swings to Dallas. Pressure will be everything. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence will have to live in the backfield. Denver's offensive line has been inconsistent, and Nix tends to hold the ball a bit too long, which could spell trouble if the Cowboys' pass rush gets going early. The defensive front has to set the tone, collapse the pocket, contain Nix's mobility, and make him beat them with precision passing. And here's a stat that might sting for longtime Cowboys fans. The Broncos have owned this matchup in recent years. 7 straight wins. The last time Dallas beat Denver was back in 1995. The last time they won in Denver? 1992. That's over 30 years ago. It's been that long. So if you're looking for a little extra motivation, there it is. This game is not just about standings or playoff positioning. It's about rewriting a bit of history. So what's it going to take to finally snap that streak? It starts with composure. Road games like this can get loud, messy, and unpredictable. Communication along the offensive line will be critical, especially against a defense that loves to disguise its blitz packages. Dak needs to stay poised, trust his reads, and avoid those unnecessary risks that can flip the momentum in an instant. On the other side, the defense can't afford to play bend-but-don't-break football. They have to dictate, create turnovers, make Nix uncomfortable. Dallas has all the tools to do it. They have a quarterback playing at a high level, a running back who's rediscovered his spark, a receiving core that can win matchups all over the field, and a defense with enough firepower to swing games. What they need now is execution, 4 quarters of disciplined, high-energy football. Because if they can bring that, if they can channel the frustration of 3 decades of losing to Denver into 60 minutes of focus and fight, this could be the game that flips the narrative once and for all. When you start breaking down this matchup even deeper, the numbers begin to tell a fascinating story. Denver's defense isn't just good, it's incredibly disciplined. They rank among the best in the league in almost every advanced metric: success rate, expected points allowed per play, yards per game, and red zone efficiency. They tackle well in space, communicate perfectly in coverage, and don't give you easy completions underneath. They make you earn every single yard. That's why this game is going to test the Cowboys' patience as much as their skill. It's not about highlight reel plays. It's about execution, timing, and keeping composure when the yards don't come easy. Dak Prescott has to stay sharp mentally. Against defenses like Denver's, it's not just about arm strength or athleticism. It's about decision-making. The Broncos disguise their coverages beautifully, rotating safeties and shifting their looks right before the snap. They'll tempt quarterbacks into making bad throws, then pounce when the ball's in the air. Dak has been excellent recently in protecting the football, limiting turnovers, and making the smart reads. But this week, the margin for error gets even thinner. He needs to be surgical, taking what the defense gives him, staying on schedule, and avoiding the unnecessary hero throws that can flip a game in one play. And while Dak will be the focal point, this matchup may come down to what happens in the trenches. The Cowboys' offensive line has quietly become one of the most efficient in football when it comes to limiting pressure. They don't always dominate physically, but their chemistry and timing have been impressive. Still, facing a Denver front that leads the league in pressure rate is a completely different animal. The Broncos' defensive ends explode off the line with incredible first-step quickness, and their interior rushers collapse pockets with power. If Dallas can hold up just long enough for Prescott to find his rhythm, it changes everything. But if Denver starts living in the backfield, the Cowboys' entire offensive structure falls apart. This is where the running game becomes crucial. Establishing the run isn't just about gaining yards. It's about controlling tempo and keeping the defense honest. Javonte Williams has been a revelation this season. His mix of power, balance, and burst after contact has made him a nightmare for defenders. He's not just grinding out tough yards. He's changing the way defenses play Dallas. When he's rolling, it opens up play action, keeps linebackers guessing, and gives Prescott more time to operate. But against Denver, every yard will be earned. The Broncos' run defense ranks near the top in almost every category: yards per carry, explosive runs allowed, and red zone stops. They're physical, they swarm to the ball, and they rarely miss tackles. For Dallas, the goal isn't to gash them for huge gains. It's to stay balanced, to make sure every drive stays manageable, and to avoid long third downs that allow Denver to unleash its blitz packages. Defensively, Dallas faces its own unique challenge. Denver's offense might not light up the scoreboard, but it can still hurt you if you're careless. Sean Payton's scheme is all about rhythm and manipulation. He'll set you up with short passes, bubble screens, and quick motions, then hit you deep when your safeties start creeping up. Bo Nix might not have been spectacular this season, but he's efficient when the play calling is in rhythm. He's accurate on short throws, he moves well outside the pocket, and he doesn't mind taking the easy completions that keep drives alive. The Cowboys' defense can't get greedy. They need to stay disciplined, tackle well, and avoid those coverage busts that have haunted them earlier in the season. This could be a huge week for Micah Parsons. When he's at his best, he doesn't just affect the quarterback. He changes the entire energy of the game. His speed off the edge can completely disrupt Payton's timing-based offense. If he and DeMarcus Lawrence can generate consistent pressure without heavy blitzing, it allows the secondary to stay in structure and make plays on the ball. Dan Quinn might also mix in more zone looks this week, considering Nix has shown more hesitation against that type of coverage. The Cowboys don't need to blitz recklessly. They need to contain, confuse, and capitalize when opportunities come. And for all the talk about defense, this game might come down to which team finishes better in the fourth quarter. Denver's home field advantage is real. The altitude wears teams down, the crowd noise builds, and late-game execution becomes everything. The Cowboys have to stay fresh, rotate players smartly, and manage the clock wisely. You can't afford long scoring droughts on the road against a defense like this. Every possession matters. Every third down matters. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The rumor mill is spinning at full speed in Dallas this week. And if whispers are to be believed, the Cowboys have quietly pulled off a move that could shake up their offensive game plan in a big way. Sources close to the team suggest that veteran wide receiver Robert Woods has agreed to join the Cowboys, bringing with him a wealth of experience and a reputation for making defenses pay. While the deal has yet to be officially confirmed by the team, insiders hint that the chemistry Woods could create with the Cowboys' passing attack might be immediate and impactful. For years, Woods has been known as a reliable target with soft hands, sharp route running, and a knack for finding space in the most crowded of defensive zones. His career has been defined by consistency, leadership, and the kind of football IQ that can instantly elevate a team's offensive rhythm. Cowboys fans have been yearning for another seasoned receiver to complement their burgeoning talent pool, and if the rumors hold true, Woods might just be the missing piece. Talk around the league is that Woods' arrival could signal a more aggressive passing approach for Dallas, potentially opening up the field for both the running game and younger receivers who have been waiting for a veteran presence to learn from. Analysts speculate that his experience in high-pressure games could help stabilize the offense in clutch moments, giving the Cowboys a dimension they have lacked in recent seasons. Of course, whispers are just whispers, and with training camp still looming, it's unclear how quickly Woods could integrate into the offense. Yet, the mere possibility of adding a proven veteran like him has already stirred conversations from the locker room to the fan forums. If Dallas truly lands Woods, the Cowboys' offensive narrative this season could change dramatically, and the buzz around Arlington is only getting louder. Stay tuned, because if this rumor pans out, Cowboys Nation might be in for one of the most intriguing offensive chapters in recent memory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.